Ever pondered on the grand tussle between the philosophy of Albert Camus and God? What if we told you it's more gripping than the greatest of dramas? Let's set the stage with the introduction of our first protagonist, Albert Camus. He was a French philosopher, author, and journalist who played a significant role in the rise of the philosophy known as absurdism. Camus, quite the philosophical rebel, championed the idea that life is inherently meaningless. He saw human existence as a bizarre, chaotic dance in a universe that is indifferent to our struggles and desires. Now, before you think Camus was just a party pooper, it's important to note that he didn't suggest we despair in the face of this absurdity. Rather, he advised embracing it, accepting it as a condition of existence, and then defiantly living on in spite of it. He believed that in the absence of divine or cosmic purpose, we are free to create our own meaning and value. But wait, there's a twist in the tale. This brings us to our second protagonist, or antagonist depending on your perspective, God. Well, not God per se, but the concept of a divine being, or a higher power that bestows life with purpose and meaning. This idea stands in stark contrast to Camus's philosophy. It posits that life isn't just a random, senseless event, but rather a purposeful journey guided by divine will. So here we have it, a face-off between two diametrically opposing views. On one side we have Camus' existential philosophy, asserting that life is absurd and devoid of inherent meaning. On the other, we have the concept of God, suggesting a divine purpose and a preordained narrative. Just like a thrilling boxing match, this philosophical battle has its own punches and counterpunches. And, oh, speaking of boxing, don't forget to punch that like button and subscribe for more intriguing content. So, you're on the edge of your seat, eager to know more about Camus' existential philosophy. But wait, did you know that according to Camus, life is as absurd as a fish biking uphill? Buckle up as we delve into the abyss of absurdity, a concept that lies at the heart of Camus' philosophy. Imagine a world where humans are ceaselessly seeking meaning, a purpose, a reason for existence. Yet the universe, in all its vastness, remains indifferent and silent. This, according to Camus, is the absurdity of life. Envision mankind as Sisyphus, the Greek mythological figure, condemned to roll a heavy boulder up a hill, only for it to roll back down every time he comes close to the peak. This eternal, futile struggle is a metaphor for our own existence. We strive for understanding, for knowledge, for a sense of purpose, but the universe remains impassive, offering no answers. Camus argued that this silent universe, this lack of cosmic meaning, creates a conflict. It's a clash between our human desire for significance and the cold indifference of the universe. This struggle, this tension, this dissonance, is what Camus termed the absurd. Yet it's not all gloom and doom. Camus invites us to embrace this absurdity, to accept it and to continue the struggle. Why? Because it's in the struggle itself where life's value lies. It's about the journey, not the destination. It's about rolling the boulder uphill, not about reaching the top. In the face of absurdity, Camus urges us to live with passion, to drink deeply from the cup of life, to seize the day. For in doing so, we assert our existence, we affirm our humanity, and we rebel against the silent universe. Imagine shouting into the void, expecting an answer, only to be met with silence. That's Camus's absurd for you. So the next time you find yourself questioning the meaning of life, remember it's not about the answers. It's about the questions, the struggle, the journey. It's about embracing the absurdity of life. Now let's shift gears. What if there was a divine being who gave life a purpose? Would life still be absurd? What do you think? Imagine for a moment a world where a divine entity, let's call it God, has given life a purpose, a meaning. This is a concept that many people around the globe subscribe to. They believe that life isn't just a series of random events, but a journey with a divine destination. Their lives have a purpose, a goal, and they follow a path laid out by a higher power. This belief brings comfort, solace, and a sense of order to the chaos of existence. Now contrast this with the philosophy of Albert Camus, the French philosopher who firmly believed in the absurdity of life. For Camus, life was inherently meaningless. There was no grand plan, no divine purpose, just the randomness of existence. It's a stark contrast, isn't it? This creates a philosophical conflict between Camus and the concept of God. If God gives life a purpose, then Camus's belief in the absurdity of life seems to be, well, absurd. But if life is indeed absurd, then the concept of a divine purpose becomes questionable. It's a philosophical tug of war, a battle of beliefs. But let's delve deeper. Can these two beliefs coexist? Is it possible that life has a divine purpose and yet is absurd at the same time? This is a question that has puzzled philosophers and theologians for centuries. Perhaps the answer lies in the individual's perception. One could argue that life is absurd, but that doesn't mean it can't have a purpose. The purpose might not be divine, but it could be something that the individual creates for themselves. In this sense, the belief in God and the belief in the absurdity of life aren't mutually exclusive. So, if God gives life a purpose, does that nullify Camus' philosophy? Or does the absurd still reign supreme? An interesting thought, isn't it? Maybe the answer isn't as black and white as it seems. Maybe it's a shade of gray. We're in the final round of this philosophical bout. Who will come out on top? Camus with his absurdity or God with divine purpose? Albert Camus, the champion of absurdity, and God, the embodiment of divine purpose, are not in a boxing ring to prove who's right or wrong. Instead, they're here to spar with ideas, to engage in a dialogue that explores diverse perspectives on the meaning of life. It's not about landing a knockout punch, but about understanding the nuances of their respective positions. Camus, with his existentialist gloves on, punches with the belief that life is inherently meaningless, and it's only through embracing this absurdity can we carve out our own purpose. God, on the other hand, counters with the assertion that life has a divine purpose, a preordained path that we are meant to tread. So, who do you think wins this philosophical battle? Do share your thoughts, and don't forget to share this video with others who love a good philosophical debate.